Hello and welcome to the Butter What Show. I'm one of your hosts, Pat Regan. This other guy here is our other co-host, Brian Moses. And we're calling this segment News. We're not really sure why, but we're doing it anyway.
I was going to suggest calling it the junk drawer. It's like the drawer that you have in your office that
Oh, you can't call it the junk drawer because we've got this beautiful book from the lovely Rex Krueger.
That would be unkind.
That just showed up in my mailbox today. And this does not belong in the junk drawer.
Absolutely
at
not.
All. This is pretty fantastic. When we interviewed Rex on the Creativity Podcast, he told us about his upcoming woodworking book that was up for pre-order at Amazon. And I don't even know if I waited until we were done interviewing him. I think I might have went straight to Amazon to pre-order because that's how I roll. And this is fantastic. Rex's YouTube channel specializes in hand tool woodworking, like not power tool hand tools, like chisels, hand saws, planes, stuff like that. It says here that the projects in here, you can do them with 12 hand tools, 12 different hand tools, and there's 15 projects to get you started in here. But what I didn't expect, I knew there'd be diagrams and plans and things in here, but there's actually, photographs in here.
Kind of step by step. Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know if this makes me feel like an old man or sound like an old man, but, the last time I went to a bookstore and bought a book, everything on the inside was black and white.
Fancy books had pictures in them.
Really fancy books. And sometimes they just had a few, pages that had color. The whole thing.
All of it.
The whole thing is
my takeaway on this.
This might be true. But I'm going to leave a link to Rex's book and his YouTube channel. You should totally check him out. He does amazing stuff. He is the nicest guy. You should watch his video where he critiques his viewers' projects because he just says such nice things to everyone.
I watched that video. Beautiful. It was fantastic. I wanted to go make something awesome? So that he could compliment it next time.
I know,
around.
Right? It makes me want to make something from the book. I wonder how many hand tools I have.
They're fascinating.
They really are. And they keep appearing to be faster.
Yeah.
Now this is on mute. Oh, I should check who this is. We should always tell people. Mirage C. That's something I'm going to try to do a better job on today, Tubby. I'm going to make sure there's text over the video with everybody's YouTube channels and URL. I'm going to do a better job. I wanted to last time, but I'm new at this. But this is how long does it take your printer to print a Benchy?
Like an hour?
I would believe that. I would believe if it's an hour.
Yeah.
I'd believe if you told me it was an hour and something, or if you told me it was 45 minutes. But this guy's doing it in 5.5 minutes. Instead of stepper motors, he's using servo motors. And if I'm remembering correctly, he said that to print here at something like this is 500 and something millimeters per second. Do you think he told us? With like 30,000, 40,000 millimeters squared acceleration. He's only using like 15% of the power that these servos have. The only thing slowing him down is his extruder at this point. He can't melt plastic fast enough. But the title says he's cheating because I guess you're not supposed to use servos to participate officially in the speedboat race.
Yeah, I want to see the rules.
Yeah, I tried to Google them today and I couldn't find them. Because I wanted to compete. Poorly. I mean, I'm not saying I would compete well, but I'd like to just see where does my printer stand.
Me and the drone simulators.
Yeah, look at that thing go. The pillars are a little sloppy, but they're not bad. They're really not bad for how fast this is going. Look at that thing. You can see the material. This is like a time lapse.
It's like watching this is like a time lapse. Yes.
But we've been visiting one of these speedboat races every month. I figured we should do one this month too. And Tubby, you were telling me you were all over Discord with this today.
I was excited to see this. It's something that has been, I don't want to say perpetually, for the last few years, the rumor mill has been that expanding a ZFS ZDev by one drive was coming soon. It's a current limitation. You know, once you create it, it's more or less set. You can't add a single drive to it incrementally.
So if you have 6 drives in your RAID, you have 6 drives. If you want more, you can't go to 7. If you want more, you have to make a new RAID device with however many disks.
And I had to do that. Well, I didn't have to. I did that with my first DIY NAS. You know, I only had like 5 drives in it or something, and I wanted to grow it and found out very quickly that I couldn't without, you know, moving all the data off, destroying it, adding a new 7-drive array with those 2 extra drives, and then copying all the data back over. Thankfully, I build a DIY NAS every single year, so it was easy for me to do. But
how did you do it then?
Basically, just like I built a NAS that year and gave it away. But before I gave it away, I used it to park all my data on it, and then I grew my own personal NAS by 2 drives, and then copied all that data back over.
Gotcha. They got to cheat by using somebody else's hardware that they didn't earn yet.
Yeah, they hadn't won it yet. It was mine, and I think I let the winner know that it had a little bit of mileage on it when I gave it away. But yeah, I guess there was a FreeBSD developer conference last week, a few days ago, and one of the co-founders of OpenZFS did a presentation in that about the ZFS expansion being merged into the master, and it would be a part of the next big release. But with, I guess a caveat needs to be issued there. They don't release very frequently, so, you know, that release cadence, you know, it might be a year from now or maybe longer. And this has been the presenter, he talked about it. It's been in the works now for 4 years, he said. So I hope it's not that far away, but I wouldn't be surprised to see it.
This diagram has me slightly disappointed, Tubby.
Yeah?
Well, when you add another drive, you still have the previous amount of parity and redundancy. It's still they're going from 4 drives to 5 drives. It's still 4 drives because this is a RAID Z1. So 25 on the left, 25% of your storage is parity, and on the right,
and it goes.
It's still going to be 25% of your. It's not going to go down to 20. Like if you started with a 5 disk, only one of these slices would be parity. This isn't They're not shuffling your data around. It's just making another drive available.
Yeah, and this is probably getting in the area where
I'm way outside. Ignorant. This is not news anymore. This is just, I didn't know this. I didn't look at this diagram when you told me about this.
Well,
earlier.
And he talks about it in his presentation, and I was busy working, doing my day job while this was running in the background, so I didn't watch and pay close attention. But there are several slides where he goes through what happens as it gets expanded.
Yeah, and this is only the Ars Technica report on. This is not the real.
Yeah, the Ars. Yeah, the link in our video description. We'll make sure we get both in there. There's an Ars Technica article that I read about it, but in there is a link to the actual Zoom conference for the FreeBSD Developer Summit. And if you want to spend, I think it's about 30 or 40 minutes of presentation, and then another 10 or 15 minutes of
the presentation for the RAID Z part begins at the 1 hour and 41 minutes.
1 hour and 40 minute mark. Yeah.
But we will leave links to all of that in the description. This is exciting. It's always been a bummer that you can't add disks to an existing VDEV.
It's huge news.
Brian, this has to make the news here, Tubby.
Yeah.
This is I enjoy this because when I built my first arcade cabinet, I always said, when I build an upright arcade cabinet, I was going to name it "Thy Game Is Over," with the Joust font. You remember Joust from the arcade? And, when everything was going massively multiplayer, all these video games, I said, why don't we have a massively multiplayer Joust? And holy crap, we have one.
We do.
Now. It's at joust.life is the URL, and we'll put a link to that in the description. But I pasted this into Discord randomly a couple of weeks ago, and I expected nobody would look at it, but all sorts of people have been playing and telling us how amazing it is.
Yeah, we were playing it. We were playing it last week. There were like 4 or 5 of us from our Discord server, all on the same team. They give you funny fake names, but we were having a blast. I mean, I don't want to tell you how many I wound up taking a couple hours of an afternoon just playing it over and over again. It's so much fun, and it's such a flashback.
And I'm doing a bad job.
Are you doing a bad job? Oh no,
I am, and it's very loud.
It's so loud. Yeah, if you play this, make sure you turn your speakers down by a lot because it's super loud. I woke my son up playing it one night.
But I will loop the gameplay over
okay.
Here so that when we do the video.
It's a lot.
I don't even see the tab. There it is.
It's a lot of fun. Everybody should have been
playing. Yeah, we played
it.
A little bit last live stream when we were talking about alligators, and I figured everybody needs to know about this.
Yes.
When I connected, it said there were 668 people playing. There's usually, a dozen people on a team or something?
Yeah, it happens so fast. It does. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Tetris 99 on the Switch. There's so much stuff going on that. I mean, Joust was it difficult? It was a hard game.
Yeah, and it's just the one screen, and it ate your quarters like crazy.
Yeah. But yeah, when I'm playing it, it's really hard to. There's so many people everywhere. It's kind of hard to tune into some of the.
So we had a little bit of technical difficulty there, but the important thing is go check out joust.life, go play, tell us what you think of it. Stop by Discord and tell us how you're doing, and hopefully we see you in there. It's a lot of fun.
Maybe we'll dedicate a whole segment of the next live stream to just playing with the people in our.
Oh, that'd be fun. That would be fun.
Did we do a good job? Let us know in the comments below. Please also click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and mash the notification bell so you don't miss on upcoming episodes and our monthly live streams on the first Tuesday of every month.
If you enjoy what Brian and I are up to, there's links in the description below to our pages on patreon.com. And over on Patreon, you could leave us $1 or $2 just to let us know that you appreciate what we're doing. And even the smallest donations, I get excited. It makes me feel like you guys actually care and somebody's interested in watching what we're doing. What do you think, Brian?
Yeah, Pat, you hit the nail right on the head. I totally appreciate all of the patrons that we have supporting us. And we also appreciate that you've tuned into this video and hope to see you in our next live stream.